Well, it depends where you're at, and it depends on a lot of other factors. So you got Cuba, then you got the Keys and Miami. Tampa is about mid Florida. You got Miami, Key West, Skyways. So, okay, now from here to here, I think is 99 miles. Okay, Cuba, Cuba. Okay, Cuba is, I believe, about 99 miles at the bottom of Florida. Okay, and this storm is like kind of right here, right now. And it's like, what, 5:15 p.m. on Monday? Okay, you have a couple things to take in consideration. How fast in ground movement is it moving? And I think right now it's about 13 to 15 miles per hour. That means like walking, okay, or running, riding a bicycle, whatever you want to call it. It's traveling 13 to 15 miles per hour. Okay, right now. Your next thing is circulation. Okay, how fast is it running? Okay, that's your next problem. Okay, how fast is it running? Now, let me give you an example. A little over, what, 5 years ago? A big one came through Panama City, Florida. Okay. So you got PC here, Destin, Picola. Okay. So when that comes through Mexico Beach and Panama, okay, in this area here, which is inland, this side of Florida is inland. And a lot of them travel either inland or on the outside, okay? Inland is so rare. But when that one came through, if I recall correctly, I think it was rolling at 100 miles per hour. That means it's circulating 100 miles per hour, okay? Just like tires on your car, 60 miles per hour. If your speed limit is 60 miles per hour, that tire is rotating that fast, okay? Or a blender, a food blender, okay? A food blender is going 100 miles an hour, okay? Now you got the idea. Now that one, I think, was traveling at, it was creeping like 5 to 7 miles per hour. I could be wrong. I mean, you could look it up, okay? Which is not very fast, okay, in movement. So what happened was when it hit PC, it was so slow, and it actually did hit. Once it hits ground is when you have to be worried, because the effects are going to be different, okay? Usually it'll slow down a little bit when it hits ground. Sometimes it will pick up speed. But the problem was when it hit in Panama, it traveled so slow and it's so fast, like 100 miles an hour, it just was like a blender. Just grinding as I moved. It was just sitting on it and grinding. And so that's how the damage occurs, is if it's running, real slow and tracking, and if it's running real fast while it's circulating, it's just like throwing a whole town in a blender. You see what I'm saying? So that's why there was so much devastation there, and it took a long time to rebuild that. I did some YouTube vlogs of that. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I've been through a ton of these hurricanes and a ton. Okay. Now, here's the problem. Okay. This hurricane is just, running right below Cuba right now. Okay, a little after 5 p.m. on Monday. Now, we don't know what it's going to do. It's so close that I'm thinking it's not going to die. So it'll probably hit Cuba, and then we don't know once it hits ground. Here's things you need to know. Rule 1, and I'm telling you, this is my experience. 40 miles. Make your mark at 40 miles. I've got people on the internet last night whining, going, pray for me, I'm in Tampa. I'm not praying for crap. As long as you can walk on 2 legs, you have a vehicle, and you have fuel because you were smart enough to get some before the price raised and before they stopped delivering it. You had fair warning. They're evacuating now in Florida. They've already given orders for evacuation. And yeah, lots of people will stay and all that, and some won't. But there's reasons for that. Some aren't even able to move. They're elderly. They can't hardly walk, or they're bedridden, whatever. But they're already moving people out of hospitals and old folks' homes right now. They've already set up, I think, 25 emergency rescue things right now. And it's not even close. And here's the rule. I'm going to tell you this rule. 40 miles. So if you are in Tampa and that hurricane is anywhere here, or here, 40 miles from you, or here, anywhere in that direction, 40 miles, get worried. Okay, get worried. Now, what a hurricane will do, and tornadoes and things like that, is a lot of times, now if this moves here, taking a hit evacuation, they have a realistic vehicle. Yeah, if you have a car, how stupid is that? I was talking to a guy last night, and he was going, right in the middle of a live stream, he's like going on whatnot. I'm in Tampa, pray for me. It's like, dude, you're freaking 48 hours away from anything critical at the most. At the least. And it's like, first thing you do is go to the gas station now, before they raise the price triple or they stop bringing trucks down there. Because that's the first problem, is everybody's getting worried they might have to evacuate a week before the whole situation's coming, and they're going to get gas. So you need to be there on top of that deal. Find money, borrow money, pawn something, whatever you got to do, make sure you have a full tank of gas. Rule 1. I'm telling you, I've been through these tornadoes. I've been through the hurricanes. Yes, I have had to drive north. I have had to drive east. I've had to drive west. You don't have to go that far to get away from it. The path is constantly changing. But here's your rule. 40 miles, start getting worried. You have to make a decision. Once it's 40 miles from you, in any direction, you better make a decision. I don't care how fast that sucker's moving, because 1, if this passes over Cuba, it might die at Cuba. It could die here. It could die here. It could die 40 miles from you. All of a sudden, boom, it's gone. Worry's over. All the stores are empty. All the schools are closed. Everybody's bought all the batteries, all the flashlights. The guys in the parking lots are selling 6 packs of water for $40. Yeah. And people are out buying cases of water that's going to last them the next 6 damn months, which that water does go bad. You can't just let it sit in store. So you don't need that much water. What you really need is to seek a little safer place, and it might be an hour away, it might be 2 hours away, it might be 3 hours away, it might be 4 hours away. Plan a vacation, whatever you got to do, because they're already, they've already shut schools down. I know yesterday in mid-Florida and lower Florida, they've already shut all the schools down. So if you have kids, hey, it's time to go. Okay, it's an emergency situation. So I'm going to tell you, this thing could die. It could pick up speed. It can lose speed in its tracking and its circulation at any time. I've seen them where they died right here, right before they hit land, and all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. Okay. Now, the thing is, as it's traveling, if it does come up here or wherever, it's going to have off spurts. It's sort of like jumping in a pool. You ever watch somebody do a cherry bomb in a pool, and then all the ladies that didn't want to go in the water and were like laying there with their makeup on and looking all pretty, got splashed by some punk kid. They decided to do a cherry bomb, and you know, they got mad. Okay, or you were swimming in the pool and Joker did a cherry bomb right about next to you, and you got like, you know, covered, and you're like choking from the water. Well, that's what these hurricanes do. They stir the sky up, and the temperature changes, the air changes, and little, you get tornado spouts at times. Okay, the offset. You know, if the thing is hit right here, you're going to have stuff coming off of here, rain, tornadoes, different little things that just create, okay? It's sort of like a beehive. You know, you got a beehive here, you'll have a few flying around here, a few flying around here, you know, stinging some folks, whatever. You know, it's the same thing, different day. So, you know, this thing could die right here. It could die when it hits Cuba. It could turn, you know, the next problem is where it turns. It may not go straight, okay? It's true. I've been through it. I've been through it so many times. I have worked in Florida for a great many years and not lived in Florida. And I put gasoline in where it was literally like blowing me off my feet, and I'm holding onto like the hose in my car. No lie. And I was laughing my head off because it was blowing so hard down on Okaloosa Island. No lie. And you just go, whoa. I mean, it's so much better than a tornado like in Oklahoma, which I've been through, Arkansas, Alabama. I've been through all that crap. I've been on through tornadoes on the road where me and 40 other people were stuck in Flying J out by Texas. Okay. Yeah. For hours. They wouldn't even let us out of the building. They're like, it's brick, stay here, don't go anywhere. And we're like, are you sure? And they were like giving free drinks away and stuff. Yeah. So it's nice to have people care, you know. So you never know what it does, but it's going to have effects outside of that for many miles. Okay. I don't care how big or little this sucker is. It could be this big. And freaking, there's a tornado over here, and there's rain over here, and there's sleet over here. It just does crazy things to the sky. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. This thing could turn this way and go over here when it's planned to go up here. Okay. It could turn this way. It could go towards California. We don't know. They just do their own little thing. I mean, you know, your best bet is to kind of watch the weather by the hour. This one, I think, is traveling 13 to 15 miles an hour at the current moment, but it's way down here at Cuba. And you're like, you know, 99 miles from the bottom of Florida. Okay. And I mean, even if it doesn't do this, it could go off the edge over here, direct hit to Tampa, and be a circumference of this big of an affected area. And it could travel that way, it could travel that way, it could travel that way. But if you are in Tampa, you better pray your butt has already got a full gas tank. That whatever you need to take care of, do whatever, make sure you got cash on you, because you're going to need it. Wrap it in tinfoil, put it in a secret place in your car, so the police don't think you're the dope man. Because they can pick up how much money you have in your car. No lie. But anyway, you know, you have to make that decision. That sucker gets 40 miles from land. It's time to roll. And you make that decision at that point. And you have to figure out if it's looking like it's going straight up, if it's looking like it's going to turn, if it's looking like it's going this way. You make your decision in which way you're going. At that point, it can still turn before it gets there and do something else different. But 40 miles is real close. Okay? 40 miles is very, very close. So, if it's going to go this way, your best bet is to head northwest. Any of that would be real good. Okay? And you want to be, a little ways away. I think Tampa to Destin is 7 hours. I could be wrong. And then you got a time change around Tallahassee. It goes forward in Tallahassee. I think it's forward 2 hours, an hour and a half hour, something like that. Okay. So you have to make your decision real quick and get on that road. Bye. Because one, here's your problem. Now they've already set evacuation. They're already there. Party's on. The government has already said, get the hell out of Florida and do it now. Which is strange to me because it's not really affecting Destiny at this point, but it may. I mean, if it turns, it may just do direct hit. It could go over here. It could go away over here. It could go over here to Chicago. Who knows? So that's the thing. 40 miles away, that's the rule. 40 miles from land. 40 miles from land. Once it hits land, it does something different. Usually it will slow down once it hits land. Okay? Usually. I'm telling you from my experience. So you don't know. But there's no sense in sitting there worrying. Take care of your biz. Okay? You got to make sure you have a way to charge your phone. You got to make sure, you have something, some kind of power to charge things with. See this? This is a Jackery. This is my battery box, buddy. Okay? That's my power. That sucker runs my computer, my printer, my phone, my fans, whatever I got, it'll run it. And it's only a small one. I would have loved to have the $500 one, but I just didn't have the money. There's a lot of variables. Wasn't it in 2020, Texas Hurricane Delta was projected to be Cat 4, but by the time it hit land, it was downgraded. Exactly. There was one Cat 6, and they were like, Cat 6, Cat 6. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. And Panama had just got hit. They were still trying to rebuild the devil. Okay, you could still drive down there, and 3/4 of Panama City, Florida, was still a desert. Okay, it was still a desert, and it was like, it's going to get hit again. Well, no, it didn't. But they were like Cat 6, Cat 6, Cat 6, and it's like Cat 6. Who's ever heard of Cat 6? Mother of God. So they were boarding up an auto parts house out in Niceville, Valpy, Florida. Okay, which is just below Crestview and just above Fort Walton Beach, Florida, right? And I went over to the store. I said, what are you guys doing? And it was like a week before. I'm like, what are you doing? And this thing's out in the ocean. It's traveling in the ocean, okay? It's not hitting nothing. It's just traveling across the ocean. And that's where they pick up a lot of speed, is in the ocean. And so it's sort of like driving a 4x4 through water and then mud. Okay, it's going to slow down once you hit the mud. Same kind of effect. So they were boarding up this whole place. You know how much wood cost? Oh, mother of God. And they're boarding all the windows of it out. I said, what are you doing that for? Because, that Cat 6 hurricane is coming. I said, how do you know? How do you know? You're a weatherman. I mean, what is it that you know? You're a mind reader. You predict things. I mean, how is it that you know? Because in all my years, nobody's ever really known. I'm sorry. Nobody's ever really known. It's weather. It's unpredictable. It's unpredictable like a woman. It's unpredictable like a cat or a squirrel. It's just plain unpredictable. Okay? I've been in direct hit in tornado twice in my lifetime. Twice. And once with a 4-week-old baby. That's right. That's right. It's one of the scariest things you've ever been through. And I hope you never have to go through that. Ever. Never. Ever. And it was a fluke. Both times were a total fluke. And the first time, it just appeared on a beautiful sunny day with no wind. Beautiful day. And in just minutes, No warning. There was the horns and the sirens in the town couldn't even do anything because they didn't even know. It was boom. Okay, tornado. Tornadoes about the scariest thing you ever go through. I grew up in California. People always carry on about earthquakes and how houses bounce down the streets and all. They dance down the damn street. I was in the biggest earthquake in California in Long Beach, right there on the fault. Okay, and on the 13th floor of a hotel apartment building on Ocean Boulevard, right on the ocean, Pacific Holiday Hotel. Okay, trust me, I was in the biggest one. Okay, the biggest one, and there was no houses dancing down the street. Okay, um, but anyway, so this is what you need to be concerned about. Okay, you cannot predict this storm. No one else can either. I don't care. It's by the hour. And, you can look at the weather report and they're going to say, okay, it's here and it's going to go here. And an hour later, all of a sudden the sucker's gone here or it just died. Boom. Okay. So, no one knows the answer. I'm telling you. No one knows. Not the meteorologist, not the news guys. Don't even believe all that crap. I'm telling you, they'll tell you, oh my God, we got to evacuate the whole state. We got to evacuate this. We got to evacuate that. I'm telling you, if they do set evacuation, here's your biggest problem. Okay? If they do set evacuation, your first problem is the gas man has quit. Just quit. That means they're not bringing any trucks down with fuel for you or anybody else. Okay? Because they think it's going to be too dangerous. And they don't want to get hit by a tornado. Did you know about the highest injured people are the truck drivers that run fuel? I'm not lying. I had a good friend of mine that delivered gas forever. And he was like, guess how much it is if I get blown up in a gas truck? And I'm like, what? Okay, here's your next problem. You get stuck. Okay? When they already ordered an evacuation, the police, the fire department, and all other emergency services are not coming to help you because it's too much risk for them. Okay? Nobody's coming. Doctor's not coming. Ambulance is not coming. Police not coming. That's it. Okay? I'm serious. Okay? So that's how you make your choice. My dad is a trucker. He didn't haul fuel, but I remember him telling me the dangers. Exactly. Very dangerous job. Okay, so this is your problem. The first one is the gas man just quit. So you're not getting fuel to any gas stations. And everybody else has bought all the fuel up, okay? The next one is your police, your fire, all your emergency services are done because the state has given order to shut all those down so these people don't get injured going out trying to help people that were dumb enough to stay or had no way to leave. Okay, so if you stay, you might not have fuel. If you stay, you might not have assistance of any kind. If your house gets wrecked and a friggin' timber drops on your head or crushes your kid in the baby crib, nobody's coming. You got me? Okay. And you better hope you have a landline phone like Straight Talk, which I have. It's $15 a month, okay? And I can take it with me on the road and plug it into my car and that sucker will run, okay? And that's a really handy item. Now, where I'm at now, we have so much military that the last hurricane we had, that the military took over the cellular towers. So then we couldn't dial the phone. Okay? They took over the cellular towers and blocked us all so we could not use our cell phones. Okay. Next, you need power. Okay. Power for your house, power for your freezer, power for your fridge, whatever. Okay. And again, a jackery is a wonderful thing. They have fuel things that are generators you could get at Harbor Freight. The problem is that right about now, there aren't going to be any because everybody's been there before you and bought some already. So that's the big thing. But you need power for these items. Now, if you're not worried about that fridge or your air conditioning or any of the other crap, this is your next big problem. What are you going to do when your cell phone has no power? I had friends in Tampa. They were like, sorry, I didn't answer the phone. I know you thought I was dead when it hit, but it was because I had no battery power. We had no power to our house. And their power didn't get restored for 2 weeks. It happens. Don't think it's going to be back on in an hour. Don't think it's going to be back on an hour after the sucker hit. Oh, no, they're not sending anybody out. They're going to wait. They were going to wait. And you know how long it takes for the power guy to come out? You ever been through that at your house without a hurricane or a storm or a tornado? And you're calling going, whoa, I was in the middle of cooking dinner or something. And my electric's off. Did you shut it off? Because I paid the bill. And they'll go, oh, we're working on it. We just got calls. And it takes them like the next 3 hours or the next 10 hours or tomorrow. You better be prepared. So you need a battery. You can get a 20K power battery, okay, independent battery at Walmart for $30. You can get a jackery. That sucker power all kinds of things up all at once for a few hours. And that really works well. Okay. And you can run a little fan on it. See that? There's a USB fan right there. See that fan? That plugs in at jackery. It only burns 2 watts. 2 watts. Or you can have a battery operated fan like this. This one goes electric and battery. This takes 2, 4, 6 size D batteries. But your next problem is, do you have batteries? Because when you go to the store now, there aren't any. Because in Walmart yesterday, they had the speaker box going, and they had this recording already ready going, how to prepare for a storm or a hurricane. You should buy batteries. You should buy water. You should buy foods that don't have to be cooked with a stove, and you should buy this, and you should buy that. So everybody's like running around buying everything out, and then there's not going to be any. You better have food, because they're going to buy it all up. You're not going to have any. And get don't buy cases of water. My neighbors did that. They bought like flats of water and stacked it up in their house on one of the hurricanes that didn't even come. And the one where they boarded up the parts house, that hurricane was never anywhere close. As a matter of fact, it didn't even rain. And hundreds of dollars of wood wasted that they threw in the trash after. My neighbors bought cases of water. I'm talking cases. They made like 4 or 5 trips to the store in one day, and they were buying water and juice and this and that. And then they were giving it away. A month later, they were giving it away because they're like, man, it's just stocked up in our house. It's in the way. Well, yeah, don't go cuckoo over it. Okay. Yeah, you want to get a little bit of toilet paper, maybe, a little bit of paper towels, maybe 4, 5, 6 packs of water, for the moment. Because if you have a car and you have fuel, you can drive and find some water. Trust me. Okay? You just got to go. Like I say, if you're elderly and you're not very mobile, you got nobody near you to help or whatever, then it can be problematic. But somebody should have already moved you out of there. But because it's illegal to stay if they do evacuation. Did you know that? It's against the law. So if you made that choice, you're going to have to live with that choice. But you got a lot of odds against you. Where the gas man may have quit, no trucks are coming to bring fuel. You don't know how long that's going to be. And guess what the price will be? The price, I'm telling you, is not going to be normal. And it's not going to be normal now because they always jack it up when they think there's an emergency for no reason. Police, fire, and all your emergency services are done. They aren't coming. So you call all day long to 911. They aren't coming. And they're going to tell you that on the phone. And you're going to cry. If you don't have a landline and your cell phone doesn't work because it has no power or they blocked the signal because the military needs to use it for emergency services, you're kind of in a bind there. You got absolutely nothing. But, when I grew up, we didn't have cell phones. There was no such creature. You know what I mean? We didn't live our life texting and talking on the phone driving. There was no such creature. Okay. Power for your refrigerator or whatever, cell phones to charge your cell phone, get your 20K battery over Walmart is about the cheapest, about $30. A 20K battery at full charge, it takes a while to charge it now, 3 or 4 hours. And you can carry it in your pocketbook. It's like the size of a nice wallet. It's a very handy item. And if you can buy more than one, buy more than one. Charge 3. That way you'll have power. Okay? If you have to use that phone in emergency, because it takes a while. If your car gets damaged in a hurricane and you need to call the insurance company, tow truck, you're going to be on there for a few hours playing with them. I don't even care if it's Allstate. I've been there. I used Allstate for years, and those jokers, it just takes forever. So make sure you got power for that cell phone, okay? Now, military block. Oh, yeah, they do it here because I'm surrounded by military. They've done it here a couple times, and it's like, what the hell? We can't even use the phone. And they'll tell you. They will tell you on the internet, do not use cell phone services. Thank you. Yeah, because they're taking preparation, and when everything's free and clear, then they're going to send helicopters and planes to drop food or something. They do that where people can't get fuel or food. They'll do that where they can't get in there, where they got no power. Okay. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready to plan that trip. Okay. Like I say, Tampa is probably 6-7 hours from me. I used to work Tampa all the time, like every other week, and sometimes every week. I was driving down from Georgia, so I think it was 5 hours from Georgia. It might be longer, but anyway, yeah. So these are important factors to keep in mind, but don't wait till the last second. Only 40 miles from you. When that sucker is 40 miles, okay, the skirt of it is 40 miles from your house. It's time to make a decision. Absolutely time to make a decision. And now I'm going to tell you again, it could go this way. It could go this way. It could go this way. It could stop right here. 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 It could stop when it hits ground. Or it could come in and it was rolling 110 miles per hour here. And then when it hits ground, just like running with a 4x4 from water to the mud, it might drop to 5 miles an hour. Okay? It may pick up speed going through here and go from 100 mile an hour to 200 mile an hour winds. Okay? And it may continue. Or once it hits ground, it may drop down to 50 miles per hour. It might drop 60 miles per hour. Now, let me explain this to you also. Okay. Did you know? Have you ever seen a truck, a big tractor trailer, towing, okay? We're going to make a little truck towing a big mobile home. Okay? You ever see that on the road? Okay, and they got the flag truck here, the flag truck here. That's the escorts, which are required by law, in order to bring this through because it's usually a little bit wider than the average road. So, when they tow this, first of all, they'll tell you don't be in a RV or mobile home during a tornado or a hurricane, and they'll set that at 40 miles per hour. They'll say, oh, this thing's going to be about 40 miles per hour. You better get out of your mobile home. Right, the oversized line. Well, let me tell you a little secret about that mobile home or that little RV, okay? And I don't care if it's tied down. I don't care if it's got skirting. I don't care if it's got a concrete pad and freaking log chains on it. Okay, this big. I don't care how it's done. It's a freaking tin can. Got me? This is not a structure that has a true foundation because that's what they call a modular home. Modular home is closer to a house because it has a true foundation, but the top part is really not a house, okay? It's sort of like the big bad wolf. He couldn't, blow the brick house down. Brick is a lot better, but again, you have no guarantee. A real tornado will tear up a bank vault and turn it into a six pack of Coca Cola smashed, like somebody smashed it with their cowboy boots, okay? A tornado can be tough, and hurricanes do come with tornadoes. And the tornadoes can be 50 miles away, 75 miles away, 100 miles away from dead center of that hurricane. They just come up because the sky gets weird, okay? So they'll tell you about 40, 45 mile an hour. Oh my God, you better get out of your mobile home and go stay with somebody that has a brick house, right? Don't stay in it. Well, did you know that when they're towing that mobile home on the highway with escort service going, that they are going 60 plus miles per hour? Did you know that? That's a fact. I know people that move those. That's a fact. And they're telling you to get out of your house at 40 mile an hour wind. Okay? It's going to just self-destruct. Well, that's not totally true because they're towed on the highway at 60 mile an hour plus. Okay? I'm not saying it's a good idea, but really you are much safer outside of that tin can. If you know people that have brick house or you go to a hotel, you just get away from it. There's no sense in losing your life, okay? There's a lot of stupid people in Panama that were ordered by law to leave for that big hurricane, and it desecrated Panama. Desecrated it. It desecrated people's retail stores. There was nothing left, and all their stock was strewn all over the city for miles, okay? It desecrated people's houses. It killed people. It sat around, got drunk, and said, well, what the hey? Well, I mean, you're committing suicide, man. Use your brain. Okay, you want to die? That's suicide, man. Be wise. Sitting, drinking a six-pack, watching the sucker go over your head, I'm telling you, is not totally smart. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to run from a tornado. People go, I'll just get in my car right now and drive. I've driven with a tornado on my tail of my fin of my 77 Camaro. Yes, I have. Where I had my foot off the gas pedal and the car was going 60 miles an hour to Memphis, Tennessee. All by itself. Whoa. Okay? Whoa. And if you think I'm pulling over and crawling down in a ditch because they tell you that, just get in a low ditch and it won't touch you. That's a lie. That's a lie. They like low ground better than high ground. Okay, so that's what you do. Make your decision. It gets 40 miles from you. You better start doing something. You better make a plan. Okay? If I'm in Tampa and this thing is 40 miles away, okay? You got Tampa, Clearwater, Hudson, all these places here, Weeki-Wachee. Okay, and this sucker is over here 40 miles away. And they're saying it's gonna go straight up, okay? It's just gonna pass. I don't know. It may go right this way. The eye of it. The eye is the worst. But now there's a huge area that gets affected outside of it. Okay? It gets rain and sleet and tornadoes. So you have to understand that it just doesn't go in a little straight line and affects a 5-mile wide thing. You don't know. This thing could be smaller, it could be bigger, and it could just do anything. So if I was in Tampa and this bad baby was 40 miles away in any direction, okay, I'd be making my decision immediately. And I would be praying that I had a full tank of gas, and I had cash in my hand, because a lot of times, the ATMs go out and all that, and man, you're going to be in a bind. You are going to be in a bind, because if you're on the road, you can't buy anything. If power goes out on the road, say you're at a gas station, a truck stop, wherever it is you are, and they're like, oh, we're out of power, or we can't run our credit card machines for some reason because the cellular service has been damaged by the hurricane. Make sure you got cash. Okay, make sure you got some cash so that you can buy beverage, pay for air for your tire, some change for toll fees, for using a machine at Walmart to put air in your tire. I carry an air pump in my car. Okay, plugs in my lighter. All right, I don't play. Okay, I got the most expensive one out of Walmart in the auto department, and I think it was like $40. Okay, um, so you need to have money. You know, make sure you have toilet paper and paper towels in your car, especially if you have kids. Because if you have to pull off the road to pee, whatever, gas stations are closed, wiped out, town's closed, whatever it is, because all of a sudden people want to close. You might come through a town at 7 o'clock at night and everything's shut down because they're afraid of the hurricane. And you're going, what the hell? I just drove 200 miles. So be ready, because you'll need that paper towel or toilet paper to go pee pee. Okay? You pull off the side of the road, on the highway, and you open two doors and you stand between those two doors and you go really fast. Trust me, they're driving 60, 70 miles an hour. They aren't seeing your coochie as they're driving along. Just do it quick, and you stand in between the two doors and people can't really see anything. So, yeah. Now, you don't want to whoop your stuff out, just right there in public and freaking be showing everybody on the highway driving 60 miles an hour. That's illegal. Okay. So that's what you want to do. Be prepared and be ready to roll. But like I say, it could die before it gets there. It could slow down before it gets there. It could take a turn any kind of way. You don't know. But if that sucker is 40 miles from you, by God, you better be ready. Got me? I'm not kidding. I love you and I care about you and I want you to be safe. But I've been through so many of these, okay? A ton of earthquakes in my life, a ton of tornadoes, and a ton of hurricanes in the state of Florida, okay? And at Louisiana, okay? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was at Panama City years and years ago when a tornado and a hurricane blew through there and like cremated right down the town, the middle of the town. And a friend of mine was a real estate broker, was actually in his office working late, and that sucker came in and went poof, and it killed him. And I was there. I was coming in from Memphis, and I was there just hours later, and it was hard to believe. The waves came up over the highway and went into a club called Show and Tell, and literally washed through the doors. It was on the video cameras. It washed through the glass front doors into the building. When we opened the doors, it smelled like bad baby diapers. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the longer something stays closed with all that water in it, it just gets really bad, beyond the musty boat smell or the closed up trailer house smell. It is like bad baby diapers. It is really hard to believe. It was funny because I had just bought a case of air fresheners to take home. They were on sale, and I had them from working in another state, and I hadn't taken them out of the trunk of the Cadillac. And I'm like, guess what I have? Because we opened the doors of that club, and we were like, there was like 20 of us ready to work, because the town was shut down. And it was like, dude, because people could walk to the club, they didn't have to have a car. And so I'm like, this is prime time for business right now. Because you know what people are going to do? They're going to drink. Okay? Yeah, they're going to drink. They're going to go, well, hell with it. I'll go have a drink and go see the ladies. So we did excellent business, and a lot of people really appreciated we were there to cheer them up. And I had a case of air fresheners, and we were putting them all over the club, plugging them into the walls. We were doing everything we could. I had the plug-in ones and the non-plug-in ones, and the club paid me for those. Yeah, it was really funny. They were like, we'll give you $300 for that box. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. I work here, I work here when I come in town. I mean, yeah. It was pretty stout though, and I had to run costumes by the pool table, and I'm going to tell you, that was the worst room ever. And it didn't even have carpet. It reeked back there. But anyway, so that's what you want to do. 40 miles, that's your warning. But I'm going to tell you, once they've given that state warning, you better listen, because it's against the law to stay there. And two, you're not going to get any help. Got me? You can sit there and go, oh, I can't leave my stuff. Oh, you know what I do? I open the door of the damn car. I throw my fur coats in there. I throw my jewelry boxes in there. Anything else that's super vitally important, okay? I don't even worry about buying clothes. I'll get them on the road. Throw my kid, some medicines, Tylenol, whatever I might need, for my kid, asthma machine, whatever you got to have. Throw that crap in the car and run. Lock the doors, close your eyes, and shed a tear and go. And don't look back. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be a year. Don't look back. You got no choice. And that's because you're living in an area that tends to have these type of weathers. If you don't like these weathers and you don't wish to take the risk, then don't be here. That's it. Party's over. Okay? In California, the only thing they ever worry about is drought. And two, they don't want to let anybody use water. That's illegal. Can't water your lawn, can't wash your car. They'll fine you. They'll write big tickets, take you to court, put you in jail. But they don't have like tornadoes. They don't have hurricanes. They don't have, all the different weathers. Yeah, they got snow in the mountains, but that's a different elevation. But, or move to another country. I don't know what to tell you. But all you got to do is get in that damn car. It's got 4 wheels, roll with it. You already know that when they've closed the schools down and that thing's not anywhere near us, that it might be kind of an important situation. They closed those schools. I know they were closed yesterday. They might have been closed the day before or 2 days before. But I do know they were closed yesterday in mid-Florida and below. So something's wrong with this picture. People are getting a little worried, eh? Okay. So heed my warning. I love you. Stay safe. Do what I'm telling you. Your first stop's that damn gas station, you better pray. You better pray there aren't 50 people there or there's no gas left. Okay? Or it's $10 a gallon or $20 a gallon. You don't want to go through all that. There's too much stress, too much pain. Because you could be driving over to Biloxi and be at the casino and get a hotel for $60 a night, something, and $100 deposit on your credit card, and you can be sitting at the table for $30 eating seafood, lobster. You can have crab legs and be in a nice safe building and not have to sweat any bullets. Okay? All right. I love you. Stay safe and heed the warning.